Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Welcome to this episode of The Closures. As always, Scott Carson, excited to be here with you today. We are jacked up. We've got our special guest, Merrill Chandler, joining us again from it looks like the cold, frozen tundra of Salt Lake City up there. You can see the snow in the background out there. But so excited and honored to have CreditSense as a sponsor for the podcast. And just excited. You got some great stuff going on. But anyway, first and foremost, Happy New Year. Merry Christmas, Merrill.
Yeah, absolutely. Back at you, man. It's been a ride. 2018 was just like come screaming into 2019, and we're so many great things going on. So we're excited to talk about it.
Yeah, man. You guys really got some great stuff started at the end of the year with your live events, and then also you've got a great schedule ahead of things. We're honored to have you come into Austin, spend a day with us here, kind of brainstorming in 2019 with some great people, and just, you know, you've got so much buzz going on right now with what you guys are doing over there at CreditSense that I love the topic. Are you effable or just effed?
Right. Seriously, right? No. Yeah. Are you fundable or just effed? Right? Because if you don't have your act together, if you don't know what somebody is measuring or how to get the money, no one's going to give it to you, right? So are you effable or just F?
So let's talk about what effable is out there. And well, before we do that, for those that are joining us or watching us on Facebook or YouTube or listening for the first time, Merrill, take a second, share who you are, kind of what CreditSense is all about first.
Absolutely. So Merrill Chandler, founder and CEO of CreditSense. CreditSense for the last 20 plus years, almost 25 years, we have been helping individuals, real estate investors, savvy borrowers to optimize their fundability, right? Your ability to get funding, whether it's a mortgage you're after or your business lines of credit, commercial loans, whatever it is. So over the last 25 years, we've dealt with, on a significant level, the CEO of FICO, the score development teams for both personal and business score development teams at FICO, to hash through our model for helping our clients and our students create fundability, so that no matter where they go or what kind of money they're looking for, you look spectacular to the lender because you're doing it all right. You not only know what the lender guidelines are in advance before you apply, or you have you know what the guidelines are, and you know that your profile is in concert with, or is synchronous with those lending criteria. That's what we do. We specialize real estate investors, but any business who's looking to capitalize, we just knock it out of the park, because you can't win a game unless you know the rules, right? So
amen to that. And you know the rules. You're got the sneak peek, the back look to all the rules, and that's what's so great is you're taking the rules that you've known and helped, you know, not create, but know and spend time learning, and then putting those rules or sharing the playbook, I guess you could say, the fundability playbook, right?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. And so you had an event in, you had your first live event last year, correct?
Yes. November and December, we had what we call a fundability boot camp intensive, where we spend 2 full days. Before, I would do a presentation and then invite people to get a fundability analysis so we can check their personal profile, and then people make the evaluation of whether or not they want to partner with us in or engage us as a client. Now we're actually holding it's crazy, for $97 somebody can go to a 2-day event and learn every single task you need to do to create what we call a qualified personal credit identity and a qualified business funding entity. And those two things are what FICO is measuring, what the lenders want to lend to, right? You come to this 2-day event. So we did it twice. One was in Columbus, Ohio, and one was in Minneapolis. And it was standing ovation. The comments that we got, go to our Facebook page. Our comments were just off the charts. All the tech, I tell it all. And you will know walking out of that event what it takes to become fundable as a business owner or a real estate investor or as a savvy borrower or consumer.
Sure. That totally. And we got also quite a few students there that absolutely raved about it. It was funny because we were teaching a class the same weekend as one of the classes, and I was cracking up because people were taking screenshots of your screen and nuggets. They're doing all the same things they do at my workshop. We had some people doing it at the same time. So I was cracking up. I was like, look, just focus on Merrill's, because that's really the most important aspect of that stuff. You've been through my workshop before. Focus on Merrill's, and you can come back and
you wouldn't believe how many husbands and wives were in the same room. What the husband or the wife was watching one, and the husband was watching the other, and they were just comparing notes at the end. I'm like, it's so funny. But I mean, hey, take it for $97, man. Take it on, right? So, exactly. Yeah, that was a blast. So and they were so successful that now we have 3 upcoming events in this first quarter that we're excited about, and we'll announce those in a moment.
Right, and you've got a book coming out this quarter as well too, and some other things like that too.
Finally, my tell-all book. It's literally called "Are You Effable or Just Effed?" And it's start to finish. It is my tell-all book about how my relationship with FICO, how I came up. I mean, nobody knows except for you, Scott. Nobody knows how I came up with optimization back 20 years ago. And it's a crazy story, but it'll be a tell-all book about how to become fundable. And book 2, so that's the personal. The second book, which will be by the end of the year, will be about business fundability. So we've decided to split it back up because nobody wants to read a 500-page book, right? So we're splitting those up: personal fundability and then business fundability. But I'm so excited because I've never had something. It'll be like a free plus shipping or something, but I've never had the Bible for our fundability movement. And now by end of quarter, it'll be done, published, and we'll give you guys plenty of time to check in with that and get your copy.
Good stuff. I'm really looking forward to it. It's good stuff out there. Everybody loves that stuff, and it's you're going to leave a lot of people. It's going to be a real page turner, I tell you that.
Yeah, right? Exactly.
So let's talk about the event you had. What was there a surprising thing that came from there was, the attendees, something that maybe kind of stood out a little bit differently that you didn't expect?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Great question. So we simulcast. We believe we're going to simulcast online every single event. So whether or not, in the beginning of February, we're doing a live event in Salt Lake City, but you can register for the event and watch it online. You get sent your PDF copies of the 100+ workbook, the whole 9 yards. But what we found was that the people who were online, we had 85 in the room and 16 people online. And the online people, I thought there would be some downgrade in, if not quality, then them paying attention, because they're watching the thing in the privacy of their own underwear, right? So I was thinking, maybe there'll be less attentiveness or whatever. People were glued to their screens and they're asking questions. And the producer at the back of the room is always, just like we ask questions in the room, people are asking. The second a question came up online, we took that question and answered it in front of everybody. And the online participation was crazy. I didn't think it would be that aggressive.
Interactive, yeah.
Knocked it out of the park. I've got. People love me or they hate me, right? Some people think I'm a disruptor. I kind of want to turn the borrowing industry on its ear. But what I noticed is that people in the room were super engaged. The people online didn't skip a beat. That was really surprising for me.
That's good. It's the 21st century. That's people are more inclined to hopefully spend a little bit more time online with the way everything's going these days with the podcast.
Well, you're a master at that. I'm like, oh, grunge. I mean,
we have disrupted the industry a little bit with our live streams and our virtual.
Yeah, you kill it. I just want to be like you when I grow up.
Well, we're trying to do as much Vulcan mind melding with you to help you out that stuff for sure. So let's talk about this. So you had people coming in, and what's a couple of the biggest things that probably surprised most people when they pulled my FICO report or other things out there? What was probably the biggest?
Everybody was required to bring a my FICO credit report so we could see true. Most people don't even know this. We won't get into the details, but there's 28 consumer scores in your myfico.com credit report. They're all FICO scores. There's auto score, mortgage score. You don't need to pull a mortgage credit report to see what your mortgage scores are. Auto scores, your bank card scores, etc. And so everybody had to bring those. We went through what we call a fundability index, which it takes into account your score, but most people don't know that your credit score is third or fourth in priority over other considerations when evaluating you as a borrower. So I put together a fundability index, and we go through this fundability index. Actually, they're workshopping it as a group. The first day is all personal credit profile. Remember, I said there's two things that are required for lenders to accept you, especially in business lending. 80% of business lending is based on your personal profile. So the first day it was all about personal profile optimization, how to optimize your fundability in your identity, your trade lines, the quality of your accounts, your timing, your 24-month look back period, all this awesome stuff, pure personal fundability. Then the second day, it was 100% business fundability. And that's literally the very name. Most people don't know there are red flag words out there that will stop a lender cold in their tracks to give you money. So we go over the red flag words, how to shape a current entity, whether or not you need to start a new entity, whatever it is. The second day was 100% about business fundability. So you got personal fundability first day, business fundability the second day, and people were just eating it up. I mean, the feedback we got was just phenomenal. And I've never done the intensive. I wanted to do the intensives for years. We've never done them. And now I'm never going back because so many people they really, I promise anybody who's watching this or comes to the intensive, you will walk out of there knowing every single step. We give you the checklist, every single step of how to do this process. So go for it. You can do it on your own. We can help you, whatever the situation is, but we give you every single step that needs to be done on personal and on business. So that was the greatest long answer to a short question, as always. But the greatest surprise or the greatest offering we had is that we got to really dial in and teach people. I'm that guy. I love empowering people to know what's going on in their personal and business profiles. And we get to do the deepest dive. I mean, seriously, people kept going, hey, can we bump this to 5:30? Can we bump this to 6 o'clock? And everybody's like, yes, more. Well, you can see blood coming out of their ears, It was so fun to watch them get as passionate about knowing this and knowing what to do to create fundability as I am. And that was an amazing, amazing feeling.
That's it's so great to hear. And that's, yeah, you definitely, and your right arm, Brad, and your whole staff is a big believer in helping deliver a lot of great stuff. Now, what are some things, with it now being January, that a lot of people either are some easy things that they can look at doing, or things that maybe that people do that they don't know that hurt their stuff, with it being the first year?
Yeah. Let me cover, there's this whole, you and I were talking about it a little bit, but there's this whole brouhaha of, impending doom. The doomsayers out there are forecasting all this stuff. So let me give a couple of hints that if you have any to tell you. I was there. I was a very, very, very young man when 2008 came through, and I'm going to tell you exactly what happened and how to prepare for the worst possible scenario. Would that be a good thing to cover?
Perfect. That's a great idea.
All right. So in 2008, the most important metric after business relationship, the relationship a bank has with you through checking and credit cards and all the other things. The next most important metric is what's called your 24-month look back period. They measure, and each period is more valuable. So 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, and 24 months. Each is twice the value. So if you behave in a certain way for 24 months, they're going to say for the next 24 months, you're going to behave the exact same way. Well, our clients, because we did the exact same thing with our clients that I'm telling you right now, if you can start showing that you maintain low balances. You can run traffic, never put more than 40% on your credit card, pay it down faithfully to 0 or near 0 on the due date. And if you do that over the course of 3, 6, 12, and 24 months, you're going to send the message to the underwriting software that you are not a risky borrower. And so 2008, they either closed credit cards, credit lines, they either closed them or significantly reduced them. Now, the problem is that so good news is if you start behaving now, they will not reduce or reduce very subtly these credit limits. And so it's so important to maintain, because your credit limits actually indicate to every future lender what your capacity is for borrowing. If those all get shut down or closed down or lowered significantly, then you show that you can handle $5,000 instead of $20,000. Nobody keeps a record of what the limit used to be 6 months ago or 12 months ago. They look at what the limit is today. Now, here's the biggest problem with carrying a balance, especially you note buyers, real estate investors, everybody who's using your personal credit to fix and flip and make repairs and all that stuff, and your utilization goes up, your balances go up, and your credit score goes down. You just bad juju. Watch the preview that we offer for free. We'll have a link for you, or it'll be on the Scott's link will be on.
Yeah, it'll be in the show notes for sure. Yeah.
But watch the preview. I'm gonna walk you through all of these things so that you can prepare yourself. Now, what's most important is, let's say you have a 70% balance or an 80% balance on a credit card. Well, the credit card is going to lower your limit. It will never lower it below what you owe. So if you have a $20,000 card, you owe 15 grand, they're gonna go to 15,200. The problem is that when they do that, your utilization, instead of being 75%, goes to 95%. That hurts your score. They did the move. So when I'm back at FICO, I'm talking to the chief designer of the personal algorithm, and I said, well, hold it. If the bank makes the move and drops the limit, that hurts the borrower. And he goes, we can't account for that. Yep, we don't shift the measurement or the FICO metric to keep it at that 75% of what it was. You're now at 95% utilization. And if you're at 95%, your score is getting crushed. Now, here's what's stupid, but it's true. And many of you have experienced this. So now you're at 15.2. If you make a payment of $5,000, they're going to drop it down to 10.2. So you're still at 95%, and they're going to go all the way down until they feel comfortable. And guys, you will be at 90+% utilization for years if you're carrying these balances. So one, get to the web class so you can find out how to. You have to go to the web class. You have to attend the web class before you can go to the fundability analysis. That's where we share the link and how to buy a ticket and all that stuff. It's $97. The issue is that you've got to know what you're doing. So if you're doing this all on your personal, stop it. Let us help you get business lines of credit, business credit cards, so you can do your balances and your fix and flips and buy notes or buy carpet on your business credit and leave your personal credit alone. It's the goose that lays the golden egg, and you guys are cooking your goose. So you've got to maintain these perfect traffic. Traffic is what we call using the card and paying it off, right? These perfect traffic patterns that match. We'll tell you exactly how to match the underwriter guidelines. You do that, they're not going to lower your limit, or they'll lower it far less. And if they do, your utilization doesn't crush your soul. So if I can tell you guys one way to get past any correction that happens, you start honoring and respecting your personal credit profile. get business credit instruments so that you can do the work of your business. Because we don't care if they raise or lower your business credit limits, because those are not going to report on your personal if you've done it correctly, and you'll learn at the intensive how to do that. But if you do this, guys, you will save the soul of your credit profile. He gets down off of his soapbox.
Well, that's a good point, though, because especially people are looking at rehabs. They're using their Home Depot credit cards or boost them. And is that a business credit card or that's a personal credit card? If it's like a Home Depot or Lowe's.
There's Home Depot has reports on your personal, or it's strictly business. It depends on how you set it up. But because we don't know the rules of the game, you can't win a game you don't know the rules. So if you don't have that playbook you're talking about, you cannot win this game. So the idea is to know what kind of credit instruments to apply for, make sure they don't report to your personal, and then you're fine to do the work of your business, your rehabbing, whatever it is that you need, do it on your business. Leave your personal alone. Your personal is designed to be a funding machine. You're supposed to, it's not a rag doll you go out and play with in the yard. It's the porcelain doll. It sits up on the shelf and lenders look at it and go, what a beautiful doll. I think I'm going to give that doll tons and tons of money. It looks good. You behave perfectly on the personal side, perfectly. And then you can go all willy-nilly over on the business, because FICO, the FICO team, when I was asking my 100 questions of their algorithm, they literally told me that business credit reporting is the equivalent of what personal credit reporting was in the 80s.
Wow.
40 years ago, business credit reporting is that archaic, is that slow, and we got you dialed, man. Go to the web class, then go to the intensive. And we will show you exactly what you need to do to prepare for whatever correction, collab, whatever word, I don't care what word they use, because I'm here to support you anytime, because we will get you the best interest that's available in the market, whatever it is. We just play the game.
Right. So a couple of things here, especially with it being January after Christmas and people are using their personal cards to pay for gifts. The best thing they can do is go get that balance paid down before the invoice shows up. Would that be a good way of saying it?
Especially some of you out there, some of you watched one of my presentations. I always tell people how to save 10%, how to ruin your credit profile and save 10% on your next purchase. Many people, because trying to make ends meet or whatever, they go to a mall store and they say, oh, save 10 or 15% on your next purchase if you open up one of our cards. Well, first of all, it's a low value card. We'll talk about that later. It's a low value card. Your average age goes down. It's junk. You're putting junk on your profile. You're screaming to lenders, I'm a consumer. I'm a consumer. You're not a professional borrower, and they're going to keep professional money away from you. No joke. So whatever you can do, if you open up one of those cards, pay the balance, then turn it, then shut it off. Because if it's less than 6 months, you're going to take a 10, 15 point credit hit, and then you'll rebound. But that card is junk. It's actually a negative indicator. FICO gives it a negative indicator that it's called, you have a consumer finance card, a consumer finance account. No bueno, we don't like them, stop it. So close those as soon as you can. But here's the key, listen carefully. Pay down the balance, then close the card. Because if you just close down the card and there's a balance, first of all, you would not believe how many clients come to me saying, yes, I closed my account, paid off my card, and then I got a $17 interest charge that went to collections. Stop it. Pay the balance to zero, get the last statement that it is zero, then the next month, close the card. Guys, there are literally dozens, if not hundreds, of these strategies that will make you look like a credit god to lenders. And I'm here to come to the intensive. I will show you exactly how to do it.
Well, it's a good thing. Is I went I shop maybe for 2 days. I went in and got some stuff, and that's at every check. Hey, do you want to save 10%? Do you want to get Macy's card? I'm like, no, I don't want a card. I'm good. Thank you very much. Pass on it. But there's people like, oh yeah, I'll save 10% of my purchase. And I'm like,
I'm telling you, unless you are buying $67,000 worth of Target, do not for Christmas, do not open up a card.
Right. We got a couple comments here. Tammy Gother says that's going to be so helpful, what you just shared. Laura Blunk says his workshop is very eye-opening. She was one of your attendees.
Whoa! Hi, thanks for watching. I'm glad you're here. Tell your friends. Online, we'd love people to fly out to Salt Lake. We have a great venue. It's going to be a blast. But on February 8th and 9th, on Friday and Saturday, we're doing our next intensive. So come again, bring a friend. But we're glad to have you joining us today.
So let's talk about that. So let's mark the calendars down. So February 8th and 9th in Salt Lake City.
Salt Lake City, February 8th and 9th. It'll be 8 a.m. starting 8 a.m. and we'll go until your ears are bleeding. Okay, we will go until you guys are done. It's usually around 6, 7 o'clock. Then we start again. On Sunday, we come in at 9, give everybody a little chance to get some nourishment in their bodies before we go under the fire hose again. And then we go until we quit. Night could be 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock again. So make sure that's February 8th and 9th. And when you follow the links that Scott will have, you can register to attend live or attend online. You'll decide which one you want to do.
Mm-hmm. Now, if they can't make the February one, you've got 2 slated for March, if I remember correctly.
Yes, we will be, most likely. We're finishing up a few plans, but it is most likely that we will be in Dallas on March 2nd and 3rd. That's a Saturday and a Sunday, March 2nd and 3rd. And then we'll be in Southern California on March 30th and 31st, both Saturdays and Sundays. So that's our first quarter dates. In April, we've got another event where we might be back in California, but we'll cover that in the next month or so. We'll start releasing our second quarter.
Yeah. So basically, guys, you got just right at 30 days, just under a month out for their next event in Salt Lake City. And so many of us are setting New Year goals. If you're wanting, like people, I see this all the time. And a beautiful thing, hey, I want to close on 20 deals this year. Or I want to get 10 grand in cash flow. And the thing I always talk to people, okay, great. Like our discussion on Monday night actually is about, hey, how do you hit those numbers? You know, if you want to get 10 grand in cash flow, if you've got average note is paying you $500 a month, that means you need to close on 20 deals. Well, if your average deals that you're buying on are, let's say 30 grand, okay, that means you need to raise about $600,000 in private capital. It means you got to send out and market some things. And a lot of people, they see that number and they start, well, if you've been a good borrower, you can work with Merrill and he can help you with it, with the lines of credit to help you out with that, besides just marketing out for the private money, stuff like that. But you're getting lines of credit, very cheap money, especially with the market being like it is. Cheap money out there. You got any success stories here in the last couple months of any clients and stuff like
that? The woman who just commented a moment ago, she'll remember we actually brought in a testimonial. I showed testimonials on the screen, but Derek and Aisha, wonderful real estate investors, and they picked up. They called in. My lab was working, but my mic wasn't. And so we all listened to them on speakerphone on my phone, and they shared how they had literally within the last 30 days had picked up a real estate acquisition credit line for $580,000 plus 90 grand in business lines of credit, write a check, do a deal, take down a property, whatever it was. That was the previous quarter's results. I mean, spectacular, right? We've had, I've shared a number of people, a note buyer on the Eastern Seaboard who, Teresa, picked up single credit line for $500,000 and unsecured.
Wow.
And the funny thing on that story was that they asked for tax returns and financials, but when they looked at her profile, reviewed and ran it through their underwriting metrics, they authorized the loan and she signed for the loan before she had even sent the financials and the tax returns. We call that a no doc loan.
Yeah.
Willing to send it, but they didn't. They said, "Oh no, you're already. Thank you so much. You're already approved." All right. So, so that was spectacular. Yeah, spectacular. We get all kinds of 30s and 50s from 3 and 4 banks at a time for a total of 100, 200, 300, right? But man, the big wins are coming even more and more frequently.
Mm-hmm. That's such great to hear on things like that. I know Teresa. She was actually down in Southern Florida looking at some property recently out there having a good time.
She is such a sweet. I love that woman.
Yeah.
She is she's such good people. And the voicemail, when you are at the intensive, we actually share her voicemail. She left us a voicemail. It was the funniest thing. She's leaving a voicemail saying, "Yeah, the people just left. The bank just left. I just got approved for a $500,000 line of credit. Thank you." It was so great.
So let's another thing here. I had a question. So if somebody's got a personal card and they want to use their card for the points, because we see that happen a lot of time, they want to buy something big, get the points versus writing a check for it or something like that. What are some of the best things they can do? They pay it off immediately, or
if you're going to do that, then if wherever possible, do not go over 40% of the limit, because that 40% is their safety zone. The second you go past that, especially if you haven't been past it recently, it looks like, oh no, these people are doing what do they need money for, right? And so they literally will go into panic mode and send you to risk department. Now, that may not mean that you may not get a phone call from the risk department saying WTF, but they are going to monitor you closely now. The way to stay under the radar is only spend 40%. So if you can make the purchase, then I mean, people become clients with me and they say, I want to get points on this. And I go, awesome, but we need to do this. I'm already going to tell you how to do this optimized transaction. And we put it on 2 or 3 cards, even a small purchase, but we never want to get past that 40%. We want to make sure we're doing everything right, even if somebody is engaging us with a credit card. So we're optimizing out of the gate.
It's a good point for everybody there to understand that you got to know the rules. Just because it sounds good, looks good. Oh, I can get 1 million points or 500,000 points. Let's make sure to do it right for you.
Yeah, no, you can, but do it right. Just do it right, right? So is the juice worth the squeeze? I tell people all the time. You know what? You're going to add 1,000 points to your travel miles, but you know what you're going to do to your profile. Let's examine that, and our team of advisors are here to answer those questions on the fly. For our clients or people who partner with us on this project.
Question for you here, Mayor, before you get a chance to wrap it up here. When the Fed raises rates, when anything is that, does that affect people's fundability? Does that affect? How does that come into consideration? Because obviously people are thinking about, oh my God, is the sky going to fall in 2019? What's going to go on with the markets? That kind of stuff.
Yeah. So these are great questions. I'm making a note here. When the Fed raises rates, remember, fundability everything is about capacity to repay, right? Your ability to repay. So when the rates go up, the interest rate goes up. So the payments are generally higher because right now they're around 4% on a standard personal credit card. HELOCs, interest only, things like that. But when the rates are higher, they're requiring more money from the borrower in every payment. So there is an effect on the overall, but what happens is when it comes to qualifying, what they're looking at is debt to income ratio. So your debt to income, as rates tend to go up, your debt to income ratio is going to become more valuable of a criteria. So you take all of your credit card and you only have to count the debt that is reporting on your credit profile other than rent. You need to include rent when you're calculating your debt to income ratio. Then you want to be 35% or less, 34.9% or less when you're calculating your debt divided by your income. So debt to income, yes, I'm just making sure which is the numerator, which is the denominator. But that every one of the banks we work with, all that are funding these business credit lines, are prime plus, right? They could be prime plus 0.75, prime plus 2. And so that we're anywhere in the 5 to 7, 8% range if you've got a phenomenal personal profile that we've worked on. You can be 8, 9, 10, 12 if you are coming at them with a good business, but a non-fundable personal profile. People ask me all the time, hey, I got 800 plus credit scores. And I'm like, so where's your $500,000 credit line? I don't care what your score is. How much money are lenders willing to give you? Because if you keep getting no's, that means your profile isn't fundable. I don't care what your score is. So
good answer. That's good to know out there for everybody. Now, once again, what's the best way for you got to link your email me over to, we're throwing in the comments as well, right, Merrill? And then on that aspect of.
Yeah, I sent it to you. Put that in the your Facebook and your marketing. That will take them to the so that they can watch our web class. Watch the intensive preview. We call it an intensive preview. It just outlines all the things, how to get prepared, how to register for the event, where to go, etc. So step 1, watch the preview. It's 50 minutes, right? But we outline everything, and there is no, at the very end, it just says pick your ticket price. There isn't a big sales thing. It's just, do you want to attend and buy your ticket? And by the way, the $495 level, there's 97, 197, you get a recording. And you don't just get if you get the 197 ticket, you don't just get the recording of your intensive, you get every single intensive we have ever done in perpetuity for that 197. And then if you want the 497, instead of doing an analysis with one of my team, I do your fundability analysis personally. I actually sit down with you after you've learned everything. Now that you know the rules, then we go through your personal profile and we get jiggy with it. We literally create a strategy for you, or decide if that's something you want us to participate on, or what are the tips you need to do it on your own. So those are the 3 ticket prices. 97 is attendance and the 100 page plus workbook. The 197, you get recordings in perpetuity, and you get recordings and recordings plus you get me for 497. So those are the ticket prices. That's where the link is going to take you. Watch the analysis, watch the web class, and then join us for February 8th and 9th. We will knock it out of the park, whether you're at home or you're live with me.
Good stuff. Looking forward to it. Yeah, Laura Blunks is the last time I'll record the workshop, so you can go back and watch what you missed on things like that. So
yeah, hey, ask Laura. Laura, it's totally fire hose level, right? I mean, you need to get the recording just because you cannot pick up. Were you able to understand the nuance on the fly of every single thing we talked about in the depth?
Yeah, she says that you want the replays.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I hold nothing back. You know exactly what you do to be personally fundable and have a qualified funding entity.
That's right. All right, everybody. That is definitely, you want to take advantage of that. February 8th and 9th, either live in Salt Lake City, where it's going to be a little chilly, but that's okay. You'll be inside getting hot up in it, or you can sub from home in your underwear and learning while Merrill's going through everything. So
exactly.
Awesome. Well, hey, Bud, thank you so much for being here on this episode as well. As always, deliver a lot of great content. Thank you for everybody that's out there watching. Merrill, we look forward to talking to you later, Bud. All right.
Absolutely, man. Be well. Thanks, guys, and all of you former students, come back or spread the word and have them join us, because it's a thing. It's a thing. Join us.
Awesome. Good stuff. All right, guys, that is going to wrap it up for this episode of the Note Closer Show. Go out, take some action. If your goal in 2018 is to help you raise capital or get your credit or get your fundability to make sure you're more effable. If you want to get more action in 2019, get
If you want more action from the lenders.
Yeah. If you want to score more.
Absolutely.
There you go.
I want to write, no joke, I want to write like a parable where I compare borrowers and lenders to two people starting out dating. It is identical.
Yeah, that would be an interesting skit.
Right? All right, sir.
Thanks, Merrill. See you later, buddy.